Barbara, could you tell me, how did the film come about?
Well, I think it was about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. A friend of mine who worked with us at BIBA, Dell, phoned me and said, my son wants to do a documentary. And I said, oh, yeah, okay, come over. They want to come over to Miami and film for 3 days, as they could only afford 3 days of hotels. Isn't that so? So they worked away, and I thought I'd never see it again. That was it, and here we are.
I grew up in a BIBA household. My mum used to work for BIBA, and I grew up in a kind of house which was not necessarily full of BIBA things, but was generally followed that aesthetic. So I was aware of it, and I was aware of the brand, the name, and I knew a lot about it. And my mum was in contact still with Barbara, and I read Barbara's autobiography From A to BIBA, and I thought it was an amazing story, her life. I knew that BIBA has a cult appeal, and we set out to make the film. We made it on quite a low budget, and we kind of started shooting straight away, and we had, so I think we were filming before we really anticipated what the reaction was going to be. But yeah, since we finished it, which was very recently, we've had an amazing response. We've pretty much been screening it around the world non-stop.
Are you surprised by the ongoing fascination with BIBA?
Isn't it bizarre? I can't, I find, because it keeps growing and growing. My son always says, oh, you get rediscovered every 2 years. It goes quiet and then it starts again. It's very interesting.
Because it was a tourist spot, really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
At the time.
And we were number 2 after Tower of London. We were number 2, and number 3 was Buckingham Palace. How about that? There were so many people that used to travel from all over England on Saturdays to London because the fares were so inexpensive, and it was a sort of club atmosphere, and people came in and met there and married, and so it's very emotional. Anybody who was at the time current celebrity would come in, whatever country they were from, and shopped, and from the French, like Brigitte Bardot, Julie Christie. She was there right at the beginning. Marianne Faithfull, Mick Jagger was there. But the girls in the shop never told us who was in. They were so blasé about it that I used to have to go in and say, who came in? Come on, isn't anybody interesting?
Hopefully, it will become a something that people find valuable as a record for that period, and for a great artist who nobody's really covered in film before. The great thing about Barbara is that she's she doesn't really. I think she looks back on that time with fond memories, but also she's not the type of person who will just look back at the past and not move on. I think she likes to think forward into the future and think about young people today, and hopefully that comes out in the film. That's what we try to project about her character. I think in a film it's impossible to get across someone's true character because it's ultimately a piece of filmmaking, but hopefully we've covered that alongside other things.